We're joined by Mr. Keith Tan. He's from S&P Global Commodities Insights. And let's check with him what are some major trends that he has been observing. So, sir, despite a lot of gloom and doom across sectors, steel did exceptionally well last year in India. What do you think are the factors behind it, and how do you see it panning out in the times to come?
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Aakanksha. Well, steel did have a good run in India, especially for last year. But this year, things have come down quite a bit. This is not just the case in India, but also as a global phenomenon, especially as in the rest of the countries like China, in Vietnam, in Korea. These countries are at the moment seeing steel prices come down rather sharply over the past few weeks. That's also led to a decline in actually raw material prices. So people are concerned. People were actually initially quite hopeful of what China's exiting from the COVID zero strategy last year in December meant would bring in terms of dividends, right, for the rest of the market, but that's not yet to be realized. So that's somewhat concerning. But I would say for the Indian market itself, what's been reassuring is that the steel prices have been range bound, and that's making market participants here quite not so worried as those we speak to overseas.
And so how would you compare India's steel markets as compared to that of our competitors, say China, Vietnam, or other countries? How do you see, what are our strengths, our positions, and are we going to maintain this stronghold over the markets?
Well, clearly prices, if you were to talk about them at this point in time, Platts prices show them to be some of the highest globally across, if you compare it to Europe, China, Southeast Asia, and the rest of the countries. But clearly that's also banking on the long-term growth story, right? That's part of the Make in India. So that's all going to come into play and is supposed to sustain demand going forward. The market is also really hopeful for how the election year next year will also bring about more infrastructure projects and public spending. Obviously, these, as we've learned from the last election, have to be executed upon in order for steel to be consumed. But yeah, that's essentially what we're seeing here.
And so apart from steel, you also look around the overall metal pricing. And what do you think how is India, now that we found this whole reserve of lithium in Jammu and Kashmir, do you think we are now better positioned than other countries? Or what are some steps that we'll have to take, maybe in the processing of it or understanding it more better? What do you think would be the challenges that we'll face in the times to come?
Well, in terms of the new discoveries, they've been really at a very beginning stage of things. So I think more geological studies will have to be looked at, feasibility studies will have to be done to find out whether it's going to be economical to mine them or not. But I would say at the moment, the demand for lithium in India is mainly that for industrial grade, and that's used to make things like grease for pharmaceutical purposes, whereas in the rest of the world, what we see growth for lithium in lithium demand is for that for battery grade. So we have EVs and all that. And clearly the Indian automakers like the Mahindras, the Tata Motors, what have you, they are also on the EV bandwagon clearly. But I would say things will take time as they have for other countries to get rolled out. One of the key challenges clearly is the setting up of the charging stations across the country. So this will be essential in order for the story to pan out.
Okay. And so just your closing comments on gold. Like it's been going up, it's been having a good time right now. And do you think this is going to continue, or is it going to mellow down?
Gold, well, I think it's really something that's really linked to the macroeconomic situation. Everyone's looking at gold as a sort of a hedge for what the Fed might or might not do in terms of its direction. So I think not to preempt what the Fed might do, so let's see what happens on that front.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. It was insightful talking to you. All right. Thank you.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.